Hello and welcome to a little series I'm doing on Holbein because I fell down a little bit of a rabbit hole, well a giant rabbit hole actually, and I have just ended up with all of these Holbein products. So I thought I would spread my videos out into bite-sized pieces because if I try and do everything at once I'm just going to get so overwhelmed. But basically it all started with this tiny little stamp and it's gone from there. I'll show the stamp in a little while, but I'm sure you've seen it in my thumbnail. I ended up buying the full set of Holbein watercolor paints, 108 tubes. I'm going to unbox this today so you can see them all. It looks amazing and I just had to share this with you. And of course, you probably have seen that limited edition Holbein palette that I unboxed a while ago, and all of these paints are going to go into that. So I've got lots to do. Today I'll show you the paints. In my next video I'm going to show you the palette and filling it, and I think I'm going to make a separate Holbein playlist because I might as well put all of the videos in together and you can follow along with the shenanigans that are involved, because I also have these little sets which are the brand new granulating sets that Holbein has released, I think only within the last few months, and I've got a separate palette I'm going to put those in, which is this one. I will be doing that in a future video, so be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to watch all of these videos and not miss any of them. And of course my hair's getting in my face, ugh, such a mess. Anyway, I am so excited to open this big box and show you it all, and then I'll squeeze out the colours and we'll see them all together. Let's get into it! I bought my set directly from Japan via eBay. The parcel arrived by DHL in just over a week. I think it was really quick, so I'm super happy with it. I also bought the ceramic palette from Japan off one of their eBay stores, so I can confirm that they are legitimate stores and they do actually send things. This was the cheapest I could find at the time. I mean, it's still a pricey purchase, but it was hundreds of dollars cheaper than buying in Australia because they are insanely expensive to get here. I have a feeling this is the case for many countries, so do your research and shop around to find the best bargain on these. I'm so excited to get it out of the packaging, and you can see it's all lovingly wrapped in bubble wrap. I'll just speed this up a bit. But I just want to thank you all for supporting my channel, because without you guys I would not have been able to afford to buy these. I spent some of my YouTube money on this set. And look at all of that packaging, I'll deal with that later. Let's get over to the main event, and it came in a plastic sheath, so I'll just pull that off because it's reflecting horribly in my studio lights. And now we can see the lovely box in all of its Holbein red glory. I was tempted to buy the limited edition box, but it was another $200 on top for the same colours, so I figured I'd just go for the regular ones. This box is still lovely and I really love it. And of course I'd planned to do a big unveiling on camera, so we could all enjoy the beauty of a new set together. If I can ever get the box open, here we go. 1, 2, 3... Ah yeah, I forgot there was a booklet inside. Oh, well, that was really great. Let's do a take 2 on that, shall we? Alright, this time. That was a lot more satisfying, except then I saw one tube was facing the wrong way, ruining the perfection. I didn't even notice the red in the bottom left corner is also not sitting quite right, but I never even saw that until now, so we'll just have to live with it. And here's some close-up footage of these beautiful paint tubes. It was a pricey purchase, or investment as I like to call it, but they look truly beautiful and I don't have the buyer's remorse, thank goodness. It also comes with a handy booklet that has all of the colours in there in those swatches, along with important information like series number, pigment numbers, I think light fast ratings, also whether they're transparent or opaque, so pretty much everything that an artist wants to know about the properties of each paint. These are top-of-the-line watercolors. They are artist grade, and so of course one would expect them to have all of that information. I'm very glad all of the information is in English, along with some French and of course Japanese there. This chart's a little more confusing, but there's so much detail, and so I can always refer to this at my own leisure. And I'm just realizing now that they've actually grouped them into colors. I did not even notice that. This would have been really helpful when I was sorting the colours into my palette. I'm seriously kicking myself for missing that. Oh well, I've done it now. Let's take another look at the tubes. And at this point I was starting to think about how I was going to put them into this ridiculous palette. As you can see, there is an overwhelming amount of colour here. And because I really only had one chance to get this right, I actually decided I was going to do a swatch of the colours before I committed to pouring them into the paint palette. And this is where this little stamp is going to come in handy. I bought it because I thought it would be useful for swatching multiple watercolour brands, but actually it has too much Holbein labelling on it, so I'm just going to use it for my Holbein stuff. It's a self-inking stamp and the ink is waterproof, so it's perfect for watercolours. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit too small, and there's no way to fit all of the information like the colour name and pigment numbers on that. All I can fit in is the number of the colour, where the W is because that's in front of all of the numbers on the tubes. The first thing I wanted to do is make a swatch page in Becky's swatch book, because I wanted a record of how the tubes originally came in the box before I mess up that order. I painstakingly ruled out these little squares, enough to fit 108 stamps on it. I'm so happy about that. They're going to be tiny swatches, but at least I can get an idea of the colour order, and if I do need to change anything around, or if the original order is fine, which, spoiler alert, I decided it wasn't. But trying to line this stamp up was an absolute mission. I was mostly successful, but they don't all line up perfectly with each other. It was just impossible to do that. I got it as close as I could, and it was really satisfying stamping this onto the paper, although I've had to speed this up because it actually took me a lot longer. I was counting there to make sure I actually had enough in each row and column, and fortunately my calculations were perfect this time. You may have noticed that within the large box there are smaller boxes and each one holds 6 tubes, so that helped a lot when I was counting all of the different rows and trying to figure out if I could fit enough stamps on one page, which I could. And I'm very glad about that, because it's just going to make it so much easier to see all of the colours together on one page. And my hand was cramping up badly at this point from holding this tiny stamp and trying to align them together. I didn't quite stamp all of them perfectly. You can see in that middle row I missed some of it, and that's because I hadn't laid the stamp exactly flat. It's a lot harder than you think it would be just to put a stamp on a page. At least for me, anyway. And after that, I had just enough space at the top so I can label this with the Holbein set so I know what I'm looking at. But what else can they be, really, with this many paints? And then after I did this rather easy bit, I had the much harder task of putting all of the numbers in. I did that off camera because that took me ages and I was just not in the mood to film it. I mean, look at them all, there's so many. But I got there eventually. I've just got the numbers at the moment, but I actually managed to squeeze in the names of the colours too, as you'll see soon. And I did make a little bit of a mess there, but I fixed it up. It's good enough, I'm so not doing this one again. And my idea was to turn this page into a dot card, because I have nowhere else to put the paints other than that huge palette. I was just making sure that the paint wasn't going to go everywhere. They actually behaved themselves. I'm sure you've seen dot cards before. Holbein even does one, but I just can't find it online at the moment, so I figured I'd just buy all the tubes instead. And I just basically put a tiny little dot on the nozzle of the stamp, the bit where the paint comes out. I've forgotten all my words today. But I just thought I'd show you a few of them before I do this off camera too. I spent an entire day filming this whole video because it was very time consuming. There's a second one down and one more for good luck. Then I've only got another 105 of them to squeeze out. And who am I kidding? I enjoyed every minute of this, and I'm grateful every day that I get a chance to do something like this. I mean, how can I not be happy with all of those beautiful colours? And my dot card was a total success. I'm really pleased with it. Some paints came out more easily than others, so there are a few here with rather too much paint, but otherwise it's looking good, and now I can actually swatch all the colours out and see what I'm working with here. So let me show you that now. Now this is very much a preliminary swatch, so I'm not going to spend time talking about each colour. This is a first impressions, just so we can see what all of the colours look like together, and it's interesting to see how they've packaged them as well, in what order. There's one on this bunch, Quinacridone Red, which is significantly pinker than the other reds, and it was bothering me in this particular order. Here are some more pinks now, and then there's some over on the purple side which are kind of pinky purple, and I was thinking to myself I might want to put all of the pinks and purples together. This means I am going to actually switch a lot of the tubes around, but doing a dot card like this, I was able to see all of the colours rather than just on the printed swatch, and then this gave me a lot better of an idea of which colours would go well together and which ones needed to be moved around to other places. I thought about this for a long time. Overthinking is probably more accurate. But as I said, I had one chance to get the colours in the right order because I can't remove any of the pans. They are all built into the ceramic palette, and if they're out of order then that's it, because there's no way I was going to try digging paint out and then washing it and moving it. That was just going to be such a mess. For the longest time, I've only had about 20 colours by Holbein. Almost all of them are in 15mm tubes. Now these ones are 5mm tubes, but it was just such a great way to try out all of the colours, and I've discovered quite a lot of ones that I think are really beautiful, like that cobalt green I swatched out a moment ago, and I don't have those in my other palette. I'm really pleased I'm getting to try out all of the colours properly. Although I will be the first to admit, it is pretty excessive having this many colours in a palette. It's quite overwhelming, and I was looking at them all just going, what have I done here just buying this huge set? And how am I ever going to paint from such a large palette with so many colours? But that's something I'm dealing with as we go along. And because I have the YouTube channel, it is such a good way to share all of the colours with everyone, and then other people can get an idea of which ones they might like over others. Picking colours for a palette is really difficult. I do have a few other swatch videos which I've done with all of the Senneliers, and then I had dot cards for Winsor & Newton and Daniel Smith. Those videos are quite a few years old now, but to this day I regularly get views and comments on those ones because they're really helpful when people are shopping around and trying to pick colours. So I will be doing a video like that for the Holbein set. It's going to take time though, and dedicated swatch videos like that kind of fall into the useful but boring category because a lot of people don't want to just watch swatches on a page, but I know a lot of people do, and because it is helpful, especially when you're trying to choose colours, I will definitely make that video at some stage. Just maybe not straight away, because I want to get to know all of the paints first. Just finishing up here, and of course gold and silver had dried and were very difficult to re-wet, as metallics almost always are, but otherwise no issues with the paints. And here is my dot card all painted out. This is my master swatch chart, and I had enough paint on those dots that I could actually paint out swatches in a circle so that I could rearrange the colours and get them into an order that I really want to put them into the palette. I'm going to be doing that in my next video, but I am so satisfied with this entire page. It's so pretty, and Holbein has an absolutely gorgeous range of colours. And the metallics are quite good too. I think the silver's better than the gold. So this is where I'm going to finish up the video today, but come back soon for the pouring of that huge palette. It's an overwhelming amount of colours really, but I just absolutely have to put these tubes into that big paint palette. So join me in my next video because I'm going to be doing that, but I'm hoping to put all of these ones quite close together so that it's not too confusing for everyone. I'm already completely confused, but we'll keep going and hopefully it will all make sense once I have these videos together. Thank you so much for watching. I'd really appreciate a thumbs up on this video. It helps out the channel a lot, and I'll pop a couple of other videos related to Holbein things up here, I'm sure. So I will see you all again really soon in my next video, and I hope you're having a great painty day out there. Swatchy later. Bye!